Hi, this is Ray Leftridge, computer technology teacher at Oakwood Adventist Academy. I'm sharing this information with you parents to kind of give you an insight on how we're going to be using accelerated reading for our school this year. I just want to give an overview on our first tutorial on accelerated reader itself, why we're using it, how effective will it be for your child. And so I just want to take time to share this information with you. And I want to first say thank you for spending a few moments watching this tutorial. This will be a very insightful process as you watch these videos, and I appreciate just taking a few moments to see what this is all about. First of all, as you know, we are using both accelerated reading and accelerated math this school year. I'm going to be facilitating the accelerated reading portion, and this is why I'm kind of taking a few moments to kind of describe to you what it's going to look like for you and for your child. Because a lot of you didn't get a chance to come back to the open house that we had early in the school year, I wanted to first of all make sure that you have the information in written form, and this parent guide to accelerated reading will be posted in our newsletter as a resource. I did send out this packet that night and was hoping that it would be disseminated out to all the parents, but I do know that you may not have seen this information, and this may be your first time viewing it. So I'm going to just kind of go through the packet a little bit and giving some background information as I go through, but obviously you can read this on your own. If you feel you want to just print it out and read it at your own leisure, you may do so. So this information will be available for you, like I said, to read. So this is kind of a question and answers. I'm just kind of going to go through it, overview. First of all, what is Accelerated Reader? And as you can see here, it's a computer program that helps teachers and librarians. Now, this program is essentially tied in. It works best with a library. Now, the way we have it set up, obviously, we have a library, but in most public schools especially, they have a librarian, they have certain books in their library that students can check out. So in our case, we do have a classroom library. The teachers have their own libraries within their classroom, which a lot of students can use and have access to read books. We do have a small library in our own school that we can use and utilize to check out books. But ultimately, I would suggest to you that you tie into the public library, that you can go in and check out more books, greater variety of books, and of course you can always purchase books on your own. So it's going to be a combination of the classroom, our school library, the public library. Of course, your home has a library. You might have your own personal library at home where you have books that students can read. And that's the joy of this program. It's not limited to just the library or just your books that you have at home or even books that you have to purchase. There's a variety of ways to get access to books. And even now, there are books that are available online. Also, if you have an iPad or another type of device, a Kindle, that you can download books for free or purchase books. You can also read in that form as well. So we have a lot to work with. So with the AR programs, it is a computer-based program where it really helps the teachers and the librarians get feedback from the quiz results. This will be an automatic way for teachers, as well as you will see as a parent, the results that your child is getting once they take the test. And we will get more into detail on how that will work for us at our particular school. But as you can see here, this is just a sample quiz question. What will happen, the students will log into Renaissance Learning, and after they have completed reading a book, it could be a very short book or a long passage book, they will take a test on that book. Usually the questions will range from 10 to 15 questions depending on the book level and how, the size of the book. The smaller books will have probably about 10 questions. The questions are all multiple choice, and the students will log into the computer and select the answers as they go through. Once they finish the quiz, they get an automatic result of the quiz, whether they got 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, or 10 out of 10, and it will give them their score right away, which is really nice. Here it talks about how much will my child read during the school day. Of course, that's up to the homeroom teacher. Generally, we do have a reading program, and the teachers will have a week, the weekly schedule, daily schedule rather, that includes the reading. Now, my job as a facilitator for the accelerated reading is not so much to teach the reading skills per se. I'm going to be encouraging the students to read and to read on their level, and even stretch a little bit, maybe read some books beyond their level in some cases, depending on the child. But generally, I will be facilitating the data so that the teachers and you as a parent will be able to see exactly, okay, where is my child as far as grade level reading? Where are their strong points? What are the weak points? And I'll be able to print this information out to both the teachers and for you, and eventually we'll be talking about the Home Connect, where you can actually go online yourself as a parent and actually see, okay, my child did very well with this book, or where they kind of struggled with this particular book. And it's not just reading itself, it's also including vocabulary, reading comprehension skills. All that will be coming out. That information will be detailed, as we run our reports. So as far as reading during the school day, well, that's, again, that's depending on the teacher, obviously, but they are recommending that the child should read at least 35 minutes, which is generally what we do at school. Now, of course, at home, it could be the same type of format, and I would recommend that on a nightly basis, just like with math, you have to practice to get better. Reading is the same process. And I highly recommend a regular schedule between 15 and 30 minutes, depending on the age of the child and their ability, set aside to dedicate just for reading. Now, of course, schedules will change, and we have, activities outside of school. So it just depends on your schedule, the homework schedule, how that's going to work. And that's why I say at least between 15 and 30. Now, I would talk with your child to just suggest and recommend to them there are downtime periods where a child can read, and they don't necessarily have to be at home, but it could be outside of school. For example, when the child comes to school early, say 7:45 or even 8 o'clock, and normally the children are sitting in the hallway, this is a great opportunity for them to be reading their books. They can just have a book on them at all times in their book bag, and so you have that downtime before school, definitely. Sometimes there's downtime after school, which has that opportunity for a child to read for about 15 minutes or so. You might be driving somewhere, child might have to wait 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here. Those minutes add up and can be a real good way to include time for reading outside of school. And of course, there are students who love to read. They'll just read anytime, any place, anywhere. But then you have some reluctant readers who may not want to just automatically pick up a book when there's downtime. So we have to encourage them to do that and get into the habit. And this leads to, how can I help my child become a better reader? Well, we talked about practice. And I tell my students all the time, well, if you want to be a better sports player or musician, you have to practice. Same thing with reading, and of course with math. And that's why math and reading with this program ties in so well. You have to practice. In order to practice, it has to be done on a daily basis. There should not go a day without a student working on some type of reading assignment. And the same thing with math. And notice what it says here. It says create a culture of reading in your household by reading with your child, starting a home library, visiting your local library or bookstore on a regular basis, letting your child see you reading and discussing books that each of you has read. And then this will develop the culture, as it says. As you're reading, they see you reading, you're discussing, you're talking, you're sharing what you're reading. This brings a great atmosphere, a culture of books are important, and let's share, let's talk, let's dialogue, and let's discuss what we're reading. And again, it says here, reading with your child, no matter what the child's age, is an important part of developing a good reader. Building a lifelong love of reading and learning and creating a loving relationship between you and your child make learning a family affair. What a great statement. When the family is reading together, they're enjoying the reading process, the time, I should say, for reading. It makes a major difference for a child as they're developing these skills. So just think about, how can I do that? You might want to set aside one night per week and say, okay, tonight we're going to spend 30 minutes as a family just reading. And then you can mix it up. You can have somebody can read out loud, or everybody's reading independently. There are a lot of creative ways to do it. You can have an audiobook. It doesn't have to necessarily be where you're reading yourself. You could be listening to an audiobook. So just think of some creative ways where at least as a family come together once a week and read together for 30 minutes. That will make a great impact down the road. The goal is to build a lifelong love of reading. And that's what we're really talking about. We want them to really enjoy reading, and that's how it's done. And these are just some other questions. Again, I'm not going to go through every question, but a lot of times, for some children, some students, we call them reluctant readers, and that can change. I remember my days as a youth. I would be considered a reluctant reader. Didn't really have a lot of passion at one point, but it did change for me later as I found books of interest for me. I enjoyed sports, so I checked out books eventually on particular sports players that I liked, and then I started reading their biographies and getting into that because I love to play sports. I wanted to be like a particular sports player. That made a difference for me. So as you craft this program for your children, find out what they're interested in. What do they like to do? What interests them the most? And then point them in a direction for those type of books. The accelerated reading program is designed for children to select their own books to read. We don't force them to read a particular book. You have to read these books at a certain time. That's the reading program. Accelerated reading is designed for finding books that they enjoy reading. And so for the reluctant readers, I highly suggest find out what they like to do, what are their interests, and then kind of direct them in that way. And so that's what I will be doing as the facilitator. I will be trying to discover, each child's interests, and then I will recommend certain books to them. The teacher will be doing that as well. And of course, as a parent, you can do that also. And that will make a big difference. What I like about this particular program is it not only is it good for the reluctant readers, it's good for the students who are on point, they're on grade level, they're reading fine, but now there has to be some motivation involved in that. And that's what it will do for them. And of course, on the high end, you have your motivated readers. You don't have to really talk to them about reading a book. They're just into it. Well, they can just continue and go as high as they can possibly go. There's no limitation for anyone, whether you're a reluctant reader or whether you love to read. Everyone has the ability to grow with this program. Now, we will have and have already started the process of star reading testing. This is what we call our benchmark, for sake of language, for our school. On our calendar, you will notice the benchmark test for math and for reading that you will see on our school calendar. So whenever we do a benchmark test or star reading test, the name means the same, benchmark and star reading. We start the star reading test at the beginning of the school year, and we will continue to test them throughout the school year, and then of course we'll have one at the end. What we're looking for is growth from one point to the next, and that's what our goal is. Now, your child may jump another grade level, or they may not, but as long as we see growth, that is our aim. So as you get the star reading test results or the benchmark test results, look for their initial score, which you will start seeing soon, and then how are they progressing throughout the school year. That's what we want to take a look at. If we notice that they're kind of staying the same, then we have to make some changes. If they are falling behind, then we definitely need to look, and say, what is going on here, so we can have a dialogue. And that would be between your homeroom teacher and myself. And as you as a parent, we can take a look at the data. There are skills that will be outlined that we can pinpoint, and then we can craft a lesson and a program just for your child. That's the great thing about accelerated reading. It's individualized for the child, so no matter whatever level they're on, we can take them where they're at and move them higher in the process. And I'm just going to continue here. The ATOS book level, that's just basically the grade level of the book. I'm not going to get into a lot of details. We do not use the Lexis program. And what are points? Points are given when a student has completed the book, they tested on it, and they get an 80% or higher. Each book is designated a certain amount of points. So what will happen is if they get 100, or let's just say 80% or higher, they'll get the full amount of points for that book. If the book is worth, say, 2.5, they'll get 2.5, and it adds up throughout the marking period. What we will do is I will help with the teacher, with my help and the teacher, we will set a goal for each student. For example, the goal for the first marking period could be, say, 10 points. And that means a student would have read at least 3 or 4 books within a 9-week period, which is very reasonable. And that could be the beginning goal for that student, and then we will increase it as the year goes on. For the student that does very well, who reads and maybe gets 10 points in like 2 weeks, we can always change their goal. We can always sit down, even during the marking period, and say, you're doing really well. Let's increase your goal. Let's set it a little higher. So what happens is each child has individual goals for the marking period. So one child may have their goal is just to get 10 points. Another child could be 15, and another child could be 20 or higher. So again, this is a perfect way to individualize the program so that that particular child who's really good, who really likes reading, doesn't have to be held back. If they can read off the charts, we can set their goal as high as we want, and they can read as much as they want, of course, as long as they have time to do it. And for the reluctant reader, they will see success once they start reaching their goal. If they reach their goal of even 5 points or 6 points, it really does a great thing for the student to say, hey, I did it. I reached my goal. Now let me see if I can do a little bit more. And we will encourage them on that. And as you can see, the books here, each book will be based on the amount of words. The fewer words, the less points. It goes from 3 to 5 to 10 points here, 4 points. And notice this book has 78 points, and of course the amount of words are quite large. So if this is for grades 3 through 8, and some of our 8th grade students definitely can read on a high school level and beyond. I've encountered that myself. And so I talked about setting the goals. There are different types of quizzes. And most of the time, the students will be doing the reading practice quiz, and that is right here. It says 5 to 10 or 20 multiple choice questions. Of course, it depends on the size of the book. There are recorded voice quizzes. We probably won't use those as often, but they are available. And also vocabulary practice quizzes, which we probably will be using in addition to the reading practice. So not only are we looking at reading comprehension skills, we're also looking at vocabulary and building the vocabulary of your child. And their literacy skills tests and other reading tests. And we have full access to that. And one thing I will do later, you will have a special video on just on what we call the AR Book Finder, but I'm going to highlight it right here. If you go to arbookfinder.com, it will give you an opportunity to type in the book of choice of your child and to find out if there's actually a quiz available for that particular book. So you can do your own kind of test right now. If you have a book at home that you want to find out, is there an AR test, accelerated reading test for that particular book, let me go to this website and plug it in, and it will let you know immediately if it's available. It will tell you how many points it is for the book, how many words are in the book, what are the vocabulary words that they will be tested on. All the information will be highlighted for you. A great website, great tool, and I will give a video tutorial on just that alone. We will be tying in with the public library, and I will have a tutorial on that as well. And as you can see, we have interest levels from kindergarten all the way up to high school. Now, this is a good question. Since my child already does well in school, why do I need this? And I did mention to you that reading is a practice. You have to do it every day. It's almost like if you don't use it, you'll lose it concept. If your child is doing well, guess what? They can continue to do better. They can always improve. And so whether they're like I said, if they're the adventurous reader, they love to read, the program is for them. And it's also for the reluctant reader, and it's for the middle student who's right on grade point. They just need motivation to rise to the next level. In closing, I just again want to thank you for your time. I didn't mean to go this long. I apologize. But I will share some information on the Parent Connect, the Renaissance Home Connect, which is right here. I'm going to do a separate tutorial on that, which will give you insight on your particular child. Again, this document will be on our resource. The newsletter information that I sent out to you will be under the resources. You can click on that. And of course, here I've kind of gone through it, and it's here for you to view. Thank you so much for your time. If you do have any questions, I'm going to give you my contact information. You can always contact me if you have questions about anything regarding accelerated reading. In particular, the school number is here, my personal voicemail number is here, and the YouTube channel that you have clicked on is right here. I would really love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. This would be a great help for me and for you. So whenever I upload a new video, you can just go right to, it will actually email you rather, that I sent out a new updated video, and you will get that information right away. So of course you have to sign up for YouTube. You have to have a Gmail account, or be subscribed to YouTube in order to subscribe to me. But if you do have it, or if you are able to subscribe, I really would appreciate if you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thanks again. If you have any questions, contact me, and let's have a great school year.